Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, and today we'll be checking out Orion Dino Horde. This is a sci-fi co-op shooter that pits man versus dinosaur, where you and your friends try to fend off waves of invading dinos. Now if you're wondering, Force, I've heard of this Orion thing before, it's because you sort of have. This game is essentially a re-released, updated version of Orion Dino Beatdown. Now Orion Dino Beatdown first launched on May 4th, 2012, so just a little bit over a year ago, and when the game launched, it got pretty much panned across the board. I mean, the Metacritic score, which that is by no means the end-all be-all of judging a game, in fact many people would argue Metacritic is kind of a crappy way to judge a game, but the Metacritic score was a 35 out of 100, which tells you not a lot of people liked it. However, with that out of the way, this is Orion Dino Horde, the re-release, updated version of Dino Beatdown. I'll be showing you some gameplay as well as giving you my general thoughts and impressions. And there's a couple of things that I want to touch on before we really get into the gameplay, but I will just hop into a match here so we can get things going and you guys can actually see what it looks like. So a couple of things I want to touch on. Number one, if you own Orion Dino Beatdown, you actually get Orion Dino Horde for free. That's fantastic, right? Well, I kind of think they're doing it I kind of think they've got ulterior motives, because the reason I believe they're doing that is because this game is not much of an improvement over Dino Beatdown. They've added a few things and, you know, they've made some updates, but is it a whole new game? Is it worth another 15 bucks? Absolutely not. And so that's why I think they're giving it for free, because otherwise I think there'd just be a crap ton of complaints where people would say, this is almost the same game. Or rather, why is this not DLC? Why is this not, you know, like how are you charging for this? That's ridiculous. So that's why I think they are giving it for free to people who own, I guess what we'd call the original game, because it probably should just be DLC. It probably should just be an update even. Like I don't know that I think they should be charging for this. They've added new maps, they've added a few new gameplay modes, but I don't think it should cost any money. So yeah, if you have Dino Beatdown, you do get this for free, but if you're considering buying into this series, well, you can judge the game based on this video. Yeah. Now another thing that I really wanted to touch on before we talk too much about the gameplay itself is the developer. You know, I think it's very important to be an informed gamer. I think you guys should know how you're spending your money, where that money is going, who it's supporting, and all that stuff. And the reason I bring this up is because this game's developer, or the developer of the Orion series, is a company by the name of Spiral Game Studios, and they are a developer with a shady past. The head of the company, David Prassel, has been accused of some pretty horrendous things. Most notably, a couple years ago, he was accused of firing all of his employees without compensation for their work after receiving $20,000 in community donations to work on one of the Orion games. So basically, his employees worked on the game, spent time, effort, energy, you know, to develop aspects of the game, and then after getting money for said game, he says, you guys are fired and you don't get any money. That seems kind of shady. Now, how true those accusations are, I don't know. I could not tell you. You know, I wasn't there, and it could all be he said, she said from people who got fired. I didn't do much diving into the truth of that. What I saw was just accusations, basically. But if that is true, that's pretty crappy. Another problem, and I think a big part of the reason this game, or Dino Beatdown, was reviewed so poorly when it first launched last year, is because there's been a lot of people accusing them of stealing art assets and sounds to make this game. Just straight up lifting stuff from other games, basically. Which is another thing that's not that cool, right? I mean, you know, if you're going to develop a game and you're going to charge for a game, you shouldn't be just ripping it from other games. Which essentially, I guess, modding, if you will. We shouldn't really be charging for mods unless that's a system that the developer of the original game has in place. But no, this is a separate game, and to take art assets and sounds to make that game, not really cool. Not really cool in the slightest. Now, we have got that stuff out of the way. Alright, you guys know about the developer, you know some of the shady past about the developer, you know that this is just slightly better than Orion Dino Beatdown, and so you do get it for free. But if you purchased Orion Dino Beatdown, you get it for free. But if you're buying into it, is this going to be something worth your money? Well, that's what we'll try to figure out here in this video as I show you some gameplay and give you my initial thoughts and impressions. So the gun sounds in this game are pretty horrendous. They just listen. I don't know. I guess I've heard worse. I guess that's something that I could say. Let's go in here. I think I can purchase what's my credits? 3,000. Actually, I don't really have enough to purchase anything from there. Do we have some items over here? We got a health kit. Purchase that. That's great. Wonderful. Okay. And then we've got augments over there, which are some upgrades. So let's just talk about the gameplay. We've got all the nitty-gritty stuff out of the way. You guys are a little more informed about the developer and about the game itself. Let's just focus on the gameplay because I'm sure that's what most of you really care about. Because I feel like some people probably don't care if the developer's shady. They probably don't care if the head of the studio fired his employees and then didn't pay them for work that they did. A lot of people, they just want to know, is this a good game? I don't know. I really don't think so. It just hasn't been very fun. There's a lot of jankiness. The overall environments, they look okay. Let's just jump into graphics first, I guess. You know, not the deciding factor in a game, but it certainly plays a role. So the overall environments look okay, and there's some really cool concepts. I've got a jetpack here in my particular class. There's 3 classes. We can actually go back here, or careers if they're called. Oh, looks like I can't go back to check it. But there's 3 careers. There's a support, there's a stealth career, and then there's this assault guy with a jetpack. The other careers or classes, one of them has stealth, and the other one has, I think it's just the ability to heal, if you will. Come on, there you go, shot to the face. So, when Orion Dino Beatdown came out last year, the video coverage that I did of it, I was very positive. And I want to talk about why that is, or at least why I think that is. I think I was so positive about the game, which was pretty much, the gameplay was pretty much just like this. And you're going to say, Forrest, how could you be positive? This gameplay looks pretty terrible. Why? I am shooting these things in the face. Are you kidding me? This gun has a terrible spread. So the reason I think I was as positive as I was when I last covered, Dino Beatdown, is because of potential. And I think that over the past year, as I've covered more and more games and as I've become more experienced, I've learned to not focus on a game's potential, but focus on what a game has to offer, what is actually in front of you. Because potential doesn't mean much to the person who's about to purchase it. They want to know, I'm spending 15 bucks, 30 bucks, 60 bucks, whatever the game costs right now, not really focused on the future of what the game could be, but I want to know when I spend my money and I download this game and I sit down to play it, what will I get immediately, and is it worth it for me? And for your 15 bucks, it's just going to be hard to suggest this game, and I don't want to focus on the potential because the idea behind this game is really cool. It's really phenomenal. It's such a great concept, you know. We're gonna shoot dinosaurs with friends, and we've got these pretty expansive worlds, and the worlds themselves look all right. So what if the character animations look like crap? Just you can take a look at that right here. First of all, his torso, his upper body, completely static. Like doesn't even adjust to switch weapons. It just changes positioning of the arm. You know, the arm position just changes. And then the midsection is like liquid. It's all flowy side to side. Look at that, very awkward. So the point of all that is, the character animations are pretty crummy. Same thing goes for the dinosaurs. But the environments look okay. So those are the graphics. But the sounds of the guns aren't really great. The gunplay, it's passing, but not that amazing either. And while the concepts are certainly there, and the potential is certainly there, I just don't know that it delivers. Not for your 15 bucks. Your 15 bucks could go elsewhere. Where? Well, if you're looking for a similar experience, may I suggest, holy crap! If you're looking for a similar experience, may I suggest Primal Carnage. I think Primal Carnage is a game that really did a pretty decent job of making a fun dino versus human experience. And the other really cool thing about Primal Carnage is that you can play as the dinosaurs as well. So it really offers an extra level of awesomeness. I'm getting in this vehicle, and I would just like to run some of these dinosaurs over. I need to run them over from a different direction, though. Here we go. Look at these. Woo! Get some credits. Spend it on augmentations and weapons. So I think Primal Carnage did a really great job of making a fun dinosaur versus human experience, and I think if you're going to spend in the lower range of the, you know, the $15 to $30 price point for a video game, you might want to look at that instead, because I don't think that this experience is nearly as fun. They've got a few things that Primal Carnage doesn't. This game has got some open world, or more of an open world, but all that really means here is that there's more space. It's just a lot of space for you to run around in. It doesn't make it a more engaging world, or it doesn't make the game any more fun. They've just added a larger space. And it does have the vehicles, which are kind of cool, and you know, we've got the jetpacks, which who doesn't love jetpacks? Man, it's just not very fun. It's not very good, and I am fully aware this game, like any game, will have its stout supporters and the people who say, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about, this game is amazing. And you know what? If you're one of those people, more power to you. Think I'm an idiot. I can tell you that I cover and play a lot of games, and in my experience, for what this is asking, for those who don't already own Dino Beatdown, to spend 15 bucks, that value proposition, you could get a better experience elsewhere. You really could. I got 7K. Let me buy myself a new weapon. I'm not gonna say there's no positives to this either. I'm not gonna say everything about it is horrendous, because that's not true. You know, I could see this being fun if you were to play with some friends. I don't know these people, I just hopped into a lobby. But if you were to sit down and play with some friends, I could see, you know, I could see people really getting some enjoyment out of this. I think you might want to wait till it drops down to $5. I don't know, maybe 10 bucks. Or you should look at other games. I've covered Primal Carnage. Take a look at that. That game would be much more fun because it's just better quality. And all of that, everything that I've just said, is forgetting the fact that the developer has got a really shady past, and just there's been some pretty terrible things said about the company's business practices. But if you don't care about their business practices and you just care about the gameplay itself, well, you also should maybe stay away, because the gameplay itself leaves much to be desired. That's a good phrase for it. Certainly leaves much to be desired. I still love the concept, and I love the potential. I think this game has great potential. Do I think it will ever reach it? No, not really. But that's just my opinion. You guys, you can have a different one. You're welcome to it. I'm a dead man. All right, guys. I don't know. Let's leave this right here, and I want to show you another map, maybe another gameplay mode. But I can't say that I'm gonna suggest this game at all. Maybe we can wait until the next installment. The next updated version comes out a year from now. Maybe there'll be enough, maybe there'll be some more. Maybe it'll be something that'll be worth your time and money. As of now, not really. I'm just not seeing it. I'm not feeling it. What do we want to try here? Raw P, Dino Survival. Let's connect to that. All right, well, we're gonna wrap up here with a little bit more gameplay. Let me talk to you about what this game offers. Cooperative and competitive gameplay, 50+ weapons and augmentations. You can see the 3 careers here: recon, support, and assault. Just sticking with assault because LOL jetpacks. 7 worlds, 6 vehicles, 5 game modes. So a couple of those things are where some of the additions have come over Dino Beatdown, because last time I played the game, I think there were either 2 or 3 maps available. And I think that there were only 1 or 2 game modes. So they've definitely added some more things to it. There's also some Steam achievements available, lobbies, matchmaking, and quick match. How exciting. And then there's an in-game store where you can buy hats and stuff like that. Please don't. For the love of God. Please don't do that. Alright guys, I'm gonna hop in here and we have got a look at another level, but I'll be just wrapping up this video because I don't really want to say anything more about it. You probably shouldn't spend your money on it. That's all. Alright, this has been Force checking out Orion Dino Horde, the re-released updated version of Orion Dino Beatdown, currently available on Steam for $14.99, or if you have Dino Beatdown, you do get it for free because, hey, they shouldn't be charging for it anyways. Check out Primal Carnage, that's probably a better idea. Thanks so much for watching. If you like the content, please subscribe, keep watching, and keep owning. Let's look at that character animation one more time, that's fun. Yeah, this looks good. Oh yeah. What a great game. Nope.